second. It's funny. It's
Wait,
funny.
we're live though. Hold on.
Okay.
We're having pre-conversations, but we're actually live now. I should probably post it in group. I'm just messing with you. He's like, wait, because you know what? I forgot, but when I hit the go live button, it's like, do you have a go live intro you want to share? And it's like, oh, no, we do not.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we both have teenagers wandering around in the background.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Because he doesn't even want to.
I have one too.
Yeah, it's.
I'm on vacation, everybody, and I need to share the link. So I don't know why. Why am I incognito? I don't want that. I don't want. I don't know what's going on. What's happening? Okay, I can turn that off. All right, there we go. I don't even know how I turn that on.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My child just wandered in.
That's okay. Your child is 1 year older than my child.
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. I haven't thought about it, but I see. The thing is, I thought your daughter was just tall. So, like, it just makes sense. Like, I thought that I didn't realize we had kids that were so close in age, to be frank.
Yes. Because yours just graduated. And I was like liking all your pictures. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be there next year. It's going to be me.
Man, listen.
I know you're going through the emotions because, bro, this trip, I'm like, I have to take this trip. So if you don't know, I am on vacation with my daughter for her 17th birthday. We took a road trip. We're in the car. But I'm like, I'm doing this for multiple reasons. She was like, hey, can we go somewhere? And I was like, let me look. Like, yes, we can. It was a few months ago. So plan this trip, and then I'm like, we need this road trip because she's graduating next year, and she's gonna be off to college. And what am I gonna have my mini me around anymore? Like, I gotta make some memories before she goes. So that is part of the reason why we're here, is like to make some memories. And we've been having a great time. We just got here yesterday, and we've already like.
Let me tell you something, and I know you know this. The time goes so fast.
I feel like she was a toddler yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday, Christian and I went to Six Flags Hurricane Harbor.
Nice.
We went to the water park, and then we actually went to Six Flags Great Adventure. The two parks are right next to each other for people that aren't familiar with New Jersey, where I live.
I've actually been, before they built the water park, I've been to your Six Flags.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because we're people of a certain age. So, like, I remember when Hurricane Harbor was like the new thing,
right? Like, I remember when you didn't have Hurricane Harbor. I've been there. I don't want to say how long ago it was, but I've actually been to that Six Flags. I think
was the Great American Scream
ride come out? Was it Batman ride?
And Batman's still there.
Really?
Yes.
But when that opened so long ago, that is when I went to.
That's okay.
I've been there.
No, and that's, it's funny because that was the first upside down roller coaster that I convinced my child to go on.
Right.
And it was funny because it was the first upside down roller coaster that I went on when the park opened, and it's still there right now. I was there less than 24 hours ago.
It's still called the Batman ride too, huh?
Yeah, it's Batman the ride. The Batmobile is outside. It's funny because we went there yesterday, 4th of July, and there's a circle where they keep the Batmobile, and in that circle right now is an American flag themed bald eagle, an inflatable, like 20-foot tall bald eagle. And they've just got the Batmobile parked off to the side, just like it's a hoopty or something.
Oh no.
I should have taken a picture of this, but I thought it was so funny because it's just like the Batmobile, like it's clear that they turn the engine on, put it in reverse, and just kind of park it over by the bushes.
That's okay.
Well,
sorry.
no, but what I was trying to do today is because it's funny because my ex-wife and I, we oftentimes make plans. We have very similar trains of thought in terms of making plans. So I made plans to take him to Six Flags Hurricane Harbor yesterday, and she made plans to take him today. So
2 days of.
Right. So he's going back to back. And that's not even the first time that we've done that.
Wow.
This year. Like we just did that like a couple of weekends ago without having any conversations with each other. It's crazy. So
it's a little different.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, I was just trying to make sure he had all of his stuff
to go back.
To go with. So I thought we had everything, but he had to just come back and grab something. That's why you heard the door open and
it's all right.
People probably saw a shadow walk across.
I think it's great that you and your son's mom are like, like close enough that things are like, you guys are making similar plans. I don't have that situation. Mine's the complete opposite.
I regularly watch her daughter.
See that? No. I'm sure that my daughter's brother would be very happy to spend time with me. However, yeah, I don't think their dad would be, excited to have that happen. I won't say that we just don't. We're not that in sync. That's all I'm gonna say. We're not that in sync.
Yeah, no, but I would definitely say that I am much more fortunate than a lot of people.
I admire like the parents that can co-parent and have moved along and are giving positive experiences to their children. Like I wish I could have had that, but some people can't do with some people. They have co-parenting and they have parallel parenting. I have been the parallel parent. I'm like, we're just gonna move this train along. We don't have time for all of this drama. We're gonna make a positive experience out of this child's, growing up, and that's what it is.
My view of it was always, at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do that is going to make my ex-wife not my child's mom.
Yeah,
that's forever.
It's forever. So
it's like, do I want to have a life of negativity and anger, or do I want to come to some type of understanding? And over the years, because both of us, and she's amazing, his mother is like the coolest person. I just saw her like 10 minutes before I logged in. Coolest person in the world. But it was like, we're different people. We don't need to live together, right?
Right. There's a reason why you split.
Right, exactly.
But it doesn't mean that you all don't have like some cool...
It doesn't mean that she's a bad person or the villain in my story.
It happens. I think people need to acknowledge relationships end, and that's okay. But a lot of people are just not. They're just not okay with relationships ending, and especially if they want to dominate or control someone, and then the person's like, yeah, I'm good. That becomes a thing after that, because a lot of the issues that I had to deal with is just because my ex just didn't want me to have any kind of control over my life or over my child's life. Like a lot of the things that, the obstacles that he created were just like, I'm just trying to stop you from doing what you want to do. I don't want you to do what you want to do. And it was like, that doesn't even make sense. I'm not trying to harm anyone here.
And that mentality never made sense to me, because I never, like, I'm my ex-wife's biggest cheerleader, because if her success is my son's success, if she won the lottery tomorrow, my son's life would be great. So I would love for her to win the lottery.
Right.
If she's continuing her education. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell all her business, but
because they're even though you're not together, that's your son's mom, and what benefits her benefits him. Right. And I think that mature people see that.
And she's seen that with me, like
I think that you guys are doing it the right way. Like, you might have had to separate in terms of marriage,
right?
You all your family, because I've even seen pictures of y'all together.
Oh yeah,
and that's like you notice there are no pictures of us together. Like they just, it's not.
But the same way that I root for her, she roots for me. Like when my social media stuff started popping off and like the monetization, and it was like okay, it's like I was like, hey, I want to, like, we were just talking about this when I brought Chris to Miami Beach. It's like, it's not like she was like, oh, I don't want you to go, or it wasn't anything like that. It was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, you guys have a great time. Like, I'm,
The
send
fact
me
that you
some
guys can talk
pictures.
is great. That's great. Like that's lovely. I have an app that was court ordered where I have to communicate with my ex about my daughter. I don't use it very often. In fact, I can't wait till she turns 18 so I can stop. I pay to communicate with this person. Communication is so bad. You guys can
Tell
talk.
me about. No, you have to tell me and everybody else about this app because I literally don't know anything about.
So when you end up in a very contentious custody situation, it can get very ugly and people can do the most crazy things. I'm not going to get into the details about all the craziness I've been through, but when I see people going through it, I'm like, especially when I see similar habits of the other person that I had to deal with in that other person, I have to tell, like, if they're my girlfriend, I'm like, look, you got to lawyer up. You got to be ready. It's not going to be amicable. It's going to be this person is trying to hurt you, and you just because you're unprepared. Like, I have to say in the beginning, I never thought this person would treat me this way, and I realized a lot of women especially are never prepared because you're thinking, why would you want the best for your kid, you want the best for this. I would never do that to you, so why would you do it to me? Right. And a lot of women are like that. We're thinking about the child, and I'm not saying it's just women. Sometimes it's the dad that's like that, and then the other person is all about just destroying everything at the cost of the child. And that's what was really tough to come to the realization that this person is not looking out for their child. They're trying to get revenge. And so therefore I have to just think about this in a different way. I have to have a lawyer. I have to be like, this is a fight. This is a battle. We're going in, we're warring, and I'm going to make sure my child gets the best life that they can possibly have, because there's no way that this person is looking out for them. So suddenly you have to shift your mindset.
Yeah.
And so it can get very ugly to the point where you have to document every single thing, even what you said, right? Because a conversation doesn't count. They'll just go to court and lie. And you can lie in custody court. Oh. It's not like other places. If you lie, they'll get you with the perjury or whatever. Custody, you can say anything you want to. So I learned very quickly I have to document every conversation, has to be in writing. So there are only a couple of programs or apps that you can have that will print out. Like, you can't print your text messages. Like, you can't just print them off your phone. It's very difficult. So you have to have a means to submit what you actually said to the court, which was very helpful. But it still makes me angry that I have to pay to talk to somebody I don't want to talk to. Like, it's just right. It's like it's a helpful tool, but at the same time, it's like, wow. But that's how it goes when it gets bad. So you're an example. I want to just point out, you're an example of what I wish could have happened. And I'm always like happy to see parents who have split, but are still like parenting their kids together and are really like being a family. Like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like I said, I'm liking all your family pics. I'm all on my phone, like, oh, look at them, they're so cute, and I love it. Like, I love it. But for the rest of us,
well, what I'll say is this, and I April, if you're watching this by any chance, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I don't think I am. I think it would be fair to say that I'm not trying to be like, oh, we're just perfect people and we're just smart and we're just better than everybody. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, like, it is. I get that.
We fought like cats and dogs.
You did it. And that's the point. Like, not everybody's willing to put in the work. Not everybody's willing to put how I feel aside for my child.
Because like right now in 2025, I'll tell you right now, my ex-wife is one of my best friends. Right. Like, easily one of my best friends. Like, somebody that I know. Like, she can come to me with like anything and everything. And it's the same way. But like, does that mean we're going to like kissy face? No, man.
It's like,
that is the last Negro on earth I want to live with. My Lord.
That's funny. I have one like ex-boyfriend that I'm cool with. Of all the ex-boyfriends that I had, I just have one that we're actually cool. Like, like we will vibe if we need to vibe. And it was weird because I had to go to Boston when I first published my book, and I got really sick, and I didn't have anybody to call. I called him. He came and took me to the hospital that year. Okay. And that's how, and I was like, man, that's crazy that this person, we were dated in our 20s, and all these years have gone by.
But he was there.
As soon as I was like, dude, I think I need to go to the hospital, he showed up and took me to the hospital, and I really appreciate that. I have one of those, and we're like I said, we don't talk all the time, but I know that if I pick the phone, he'll pick up the phone.
And you know what? And for me, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit everybody like it's worked out this way for me every single time, but that's one of the biggest reasons that I try not to burn bridges when relationships end. Yeah. This is something that I kind of actually talked about with I have a new therapist that I'm kind of working with, but I had my old therapist that was super cool, but she's dead. Yeah, doesn't matter. I might have mentioned it on the show before, but anyway, something that it was like using the relationship that I have with my ex-wife as a template for like how I move forward. So it's like, hey, everybody isn't meant to be together and live together and mesh lives and all that. But it's like, if it ends up not working, you don't have to sit here and call that person an asshole. You don't.
It's like you move on. Move on. I mean, it's possible. Like, to me, I think we built a society around staying in a relationship or marriage, whether it's bad for you or not, whether it's toxic, because we as a society, we elevate longevity over health. Mm-hmm. The longer the relationship lasts, then that's the best thing. Even if these two people hate each other and they've been together 25 years and they can't stand the look of each other, and they don't even, they cuss each other out. Because I remember these relationships, like my grandmother and her husband. Oh man, I heard "fuck you, Bobby" every time I went to visit my grandmother. Like, that's not healthy. No, but it was normalized. It was normalized. Even when you watch old TV, the old ball and chain, the old bag. Like, to stay in a relationship for 50 years when you hate each other was just so normal.
Ralph crammed it on the Honeymooners every single episode. So it was talking about how he's going to punch his wife in the face. Right. Bing, right to the moon, Alice. Right. I'm going to knock you out. What is it? Why?
What is happening?
I would never want to be married to a woman that I really wanted to punch in the face.
Every day you want to punch this lady in the face. This is not healthy. So we've got to get to the point in our society where we value healthy relationships, even if that relationship gets to the point where it's unhealthy and we're like, you know what, maybe we should just separate and go different ways. It's better, it's healthy for both of us. I think that folks, especially now, like, because society's changed so much, we don't have to stay in these harmful relationships forever. We can move on with our lives. And a lot of people are still, like I said, they value longevity over health. I'd rather be single and happy than married for 50 years and miserable. Like I said, I remember those marriages very well. My other set of grandparents slept in different rooms. Like that was, like, they weren't as toxic as my dad's mom, but the toxicity was beneath the surface. Like, it wasn't at the top, but they had worked together for so many decades and had done so much together that they were like, we gonna make it work. So they weren't like, but I imagine there was a time where it was volatile, the fact that they split rooms, you know what I mean? Like, so
and I think to the point that you're making, a lot of times, just as you said that, you'd rather be single. It's like, sometimes it's important to be single because none of us are perfect people. I've definitely been at various points in my life where I've needed to work on myself, and yes. I haven't had what it would take to, I don't want to say take care of a woman, because that sounds weird, but to give a woman what she would need in a relationship, because I have to work on certain things with myself. Right? And like, it's okay to do that. It's okay to kind of be like, but there was that pressure. And I think that's what you were kind of alluding to, that pressure back in the day where it's like, okay, you need, like, if I'm a confirmed bachelor, everybody's going to think I'm watching RuPaul's Drag Race, right? Like, You know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, back in the day, it's like you couldn't be a confirmed bachelor that's just working on your
couldn't be
mental
over
energy.
25 as a woman and be single without somebody like, well, what's wrong with you?
When's the baby coming? Where's your man?
You're an old maid. Like, what's going on?
You beat me to it. I was gonna say, like, I mean, that's really the bigger.
Yeah, there's definitely a shift happening, and I will say the younger generations are like they're not dating, they're not getting in relationships, and I'm like, I get it, like I totally understand. I wish it was more like that for us when we were coming up because there was a lot of pressure from when like our kids' age to pair up.
Absolutely,
you could have a boyfriend, had a girlfriend. And I noticed that these kids, they're not, I don't know about your son, but I'm like seeing they're like, hey, you get a couple that have a boyfriend or girlfriend, but not for the most part. They're like hanging out in groups. They're like, we're friends. They're like, nah, I got stuff to do. I'm busy.
I hope he doesn't see this because I know he doesn't like me to, talk. But anyway, I'm just gonna say it. But he's definitely dated some girls and they come over and stuff. But what I will say is that it's very much more so what you're describing. Groups of friends hanging out.
Yes.
Just like, oh, we're all like hanging out. Like it's not the same kind of boyfriend and girlfriend stuff. Like when I'll give you an example. My son, he was debating on whether or not he was going to go to the prom, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not going." And it was just like a flippant thing. And me and his mom were both like, "You're not going to the prom? Like
you don't want to go?
You want to go? Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But it wasn't that he had the lack of options of a girl that he could bring or something. Like he just didn't feel like it. Now, when he was dating this girl that came over here all the time. Whatever. I don't know if the camera picked up my eye roll, but whatever. but they went to the homecoming dance and they went to her prom because she was older than he was.
Okay.
So he got that experience, but when I was his age, I went to my junior prom, I went to my senior prom, I took 4 girls to their junior and senior proms because I went to Catholic school, so like a lot of the girls that I interacted with were girls that went to all girls Catholic schools because that's what they would do. Is I was in the plays and stuff, and that's how you'd meet girls because they needed boys for their plays and we needed girls for our plays, so then you kind of hang out. But so I went to like I went to like 9 proms, right? Okay. And I loved that. My son wouldn't want to go to 9 proms. He's good. Like their priorities are just different, and it's not bad, but it's very different from.
Well, I get tickled because my daughter, she went to her junior prom this year, but she went with her friends. And then the thing is, my daughter has a social battery. It expires at a certain point. And so she doesn't want to ride with them. She wants me to take her and drop her off. And then I get a text message like, I'm ready to go. Like, she's like, this is like it. But it's
I think their generation is better at setting boundaries because I think sometimes there were those times when I was younger.
I don't know if she knows this, but I admire the fact that she has these strong boundaries with people. Because I definitely did not, at her age, did not have them. People were like running over me all the time because
we all did it once or twice at least. You go along to get along.
Right. Well, no, but I was raised to be like, oh, just take people's, like make sure that you don't upset people. Like, don't upset people. And I used to upset people a lot. Like, I still had this thing where I would say stuff that would upset people. But I used to have to try not to, like, especially when it came to like my parents or, like older people, like I didn't want to like cause stress. So when I see her, she's just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, yeah, this is a way to be. Like, yeah, I'm not going. I don't want to go. No, like she went to one homecoming and she was done with that. She was like, yeah, that's it. There's no more homecoming.
But I think that it's definitely more something that this generation has embraced, and I love it because what I'm telling you, like, again, we know that our kids are very close in age, and so they're the same generation. Like, that's exactly the same demeanor he had when he was
and
saying
they
he wasn't
also
going to prom. Again, it wasn't like, oh, I can't get a date. Oh, I can't do this.
like, I'm
like,
not going.
I'm not going. I don't want to go. That's not what I feel like doing.
And it was a lot of peer pressure for us to go to these things, but then we didn't have. I mean, I also feel like there's a way to be isolated from stuff for these kids. Like they have the internet, we didn't have the internet, so
right.
There's a definite.
Did you go to prom in a limo?
First of all, I did not go to high school, so let's just start there. Like, yeah,
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, so I never went to high school.
Okay. I know we have a lot of stuff we want to get to, but let's pause. Story time.
Story time. So I have a weird mom, and my mom took me out of school, and I had tutors for my high school, but I did not go to high school. I did go to a prom because I had a boyfriend at 17, and I went to his prom. So I did attend the prom. We didn't have a limo. We had a driver and we had a town car. So I did go to prom, but and then we went to the after party. We did all that, but I knew some of the kids at his prom because I did go up to a certain point to public school. I went to 7th grade, but yeah, I didn't go to high school, and that made me. Let me tell you, as a parent who never went to high school, who has a child that goes to high school, has been an experience, because my daughter's like, you don't understand. You didn't go to high school. She says that to me all the time. And I'm like, I didn't. You're right.
I mean,
I didn't go to high school. I don't know.
You can't say
there's stuff that's happened, and I'm like, they do that? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, I have no frame of reference for a lot of the stuff that she's going through, and I'm like, I wish I could be more helpful, but I don't know.
If I could give you a small moment of empathy, despite my having gone to high school, I promise you, high school when I graduated in 2001 is much different from the high school that my son graduated from in 2025. So I'm not saying that I didn't have any experience, but there were absolutely scenarios where I was going in and being like, so your school's doing this? What's going on? I don't know what's happening. I'm a confused old man.
I mean, there's like, I will say I like her high school a lot. I don't know how, like, I don't know how she feels. I can't speak, but I like that her school, they lock up their phones. So they have yonder pouches at her school. So
like the kind of things that you have like at a comedy show. Like
like Dave Chappelle uses them.
Right. Yeah.
First time I had to use a yonder was at his show. It was like, and I was like, wait, what? They're locking up my phone? Like, what's going on? But I enjoyed the experience. I was like, you know what? It takes you back to a time where there were no cell phones, and so people actually lock in and pay attention. And I see that with her high school.
It's funny that you say that, because literally just went to Hurricane Harbor with my son. We have the little pouches that you can wear around your neck that like protect your phone from being wet. You know, you can bring your phone. And I took some video going down slides because I'm a big kid, you know. Right. But for the most part, for the day, phones in a locker.
Right.
And we're just walking around with like nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just living in the moment. And you know,
and like, I would say I can see a difference in, you know, because I have a few friends who have children the same age as my daughter, and the way that she and her friends interact, I think, is different from the kids who can have their phones in high school.
Yeah.
Because their friend groups seem to be more tight knit. They seem to talk to each other more. They seem to hang out with each other in person more. Whereas the kids that I notice are like always on their phones. They're always like posting stuff. They're not as they like, not to say that they don't do social media. They do all those things too. But it seems like it's less interesting. Like they seem like, we can post and we'll post when we're doing something. But you know, it's not like, I see some kids are just everything is online. Whereas this group, I think, because they are forced to at least spend 5 hours a day with no phones and they have to talk to each other, that they actually are socializing. And I think I'm definitely a parent that's like, yeah, you probably want to take your kid to go to a school where they lock up their phones or they can't have phones, because it definitely makes a social difference. My child has social skills. I've seen some kids with no social skills.
So here's the thing. So I definitely, I see what you're saying, but I do wonder if it's kind of like a case by case basis thing, and this is what I mean by this. So, and if I had my way, I would probably be on the side of, as you're saying, kids having their phones locked up. Like that's what, if I was in the parent teacher conference meeting and I had a vote, that's probably the vote that I would make. Right. What I would say is that my son's school didn't have that type of like no phones in pouch or anything like that. It was more policy based. Like it's just like no phones, so it would be up to the teachers to kind of like use police their discretion and police it and stuff. But what I'll say is that Christian has a large social group. Yeah. And he was literally at his friend's house last night after we went to a theme park, and right. like
I still have energy. That's youth,
right? Like he was still on it. Like we went to the water park, then got on roller coasters at the park next door. You know, I'm exhausted. That's
youth. Because like if I go to a water park and an amusement park afterwards, I'm going to sleep. Like that's a wrap. Like there's no. Let's hang out some more. Nah.
Yeah, he rode his and he knew he was going to a theme park with his mom today. Rode his electric scooter to his homeboy's house, hung out. But the point that I'm making when I say this, right, is a lot of the sociality of even the kids who do kind of have their phones a lot, it's less the social media and it's more like, I met you in person. I have your number.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of group texts going on.
Yes. That's where I'm going with this. Right. Because the thing is, it's like, juxtaposed to your daughter's experience. My son, he's like, and I know him, like in the classes that are easy for him, he's over here like looking at his phone. Like his dad probably would have been if I had at the same.
I didn't get like we didn't have like chat and text. I mean, we had text, but it wasn't really in the class until I got to law school.
Yeah.
And that's when we had the chat programs on our computers because we had to use our computers in law school. So we always sit at the little desk and we had computers. Yeah. And we had a like group chat going. And I remember one time because, basically what would happen is somebody would type in a group chat. This is serious. Like we're in a serious law school lecture, going on. And somebody would say something and then you would hear like this muffled laugh through the classroom from a few people, which meant that we were laughing at something together. And the professor, I forget what professor it was, but the professor was getting suspicious because we all had, it looked like we were taking.
Because the thing is, we're probably doing this at the same time because when I was working on my undergrad, you were probably in law school, like at that same. Because I know exactly what you mean. Where like you have your laptop and we're all and you can sit there and be in class and be like.
Yeah, and I remember one time this professor, because she had gotten suspicious, but what you do is you have to close the chat, right? You always hit when the professor came near you, you had to drop the chat. Exactly. So we're in the class. I don't remember what we were talking about. I just remember the professor was because it's like the long desk. So it's like a lecture hall with the long desk and their their elevator or whatever. And I remember like me and my homegirl, we're next to each other. We're chatting, but she comes near us and we're like, close the chat. So we're all tap it down. The professor literally leaped over the desk to like come in and like look at our screen. And we were like looking at her like, what's up? Like, what are you looking at? It's just notes. Like, I remember she tried to catch us and we were like dying laughing because we were like, bruh, we already closed it.
You were on it.
We were on it. Like, she thought if she leapt over the desk, and I was just like, you look crazy. And you're right. Like, we're gaslighting you because we are talking in class. But the fact that you jumped over the desk, and I was just like, this is crazy. Law school was a time. I had fun. It was a time. But I was like, the professor just leapt over the desk, like, to like try to catch us. And it's like, and we're still not caught, bro.
I'm just glad that, through the generations and just hearing what you're telling me about, like, so like just going back to your daughter for a second, it's like, what you're telling me about like her experience with not having the phones and my son with the phones, there's still that sense of community. Like either way you slice it.
I
You know
mean,
what
unless the world blows up, because it looks like it's real bad right now. I think that generation. I think that generation is going to be all right, you know. But for like the explosion of the planet will be fine. But you know,
well, I think one of the things, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that the generation that sired them, you know, like I mean, you know, you're talking like, you know, late Gen X / millennials, right? Like, you know, it's like we've been through so much damn stuff that like we're like, I don't want my kid to have to deal with that shit.
Well, I tell my child, you know, I was never a mom before I had her. So I'm just winging it. Like, first of all, I don't know what I'm doing and I hope I'm doing okay. But, you know, I'm just trying to get you to adulthood with as little damage as possible. Like I know I'm gonna do some damage on the way. Like, I'm not perfect and I'm trying my best. I do the best I can. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's no manual for parenthood, and I didn't have the greatest parents. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. They not the greatest parenting experiences. Like, I remember my parent did this. I'm not gonna do that. That's pretty much how I parent. Like, right. I was like, this was their solution. It was terrible. So let me. I'm
gonna do something else.
I'm doing something else. I'm just winging it all the way through. I'm winging it, but you know, I feel like the one thing I remember as a new mom, I was like, I don't want to raise like a punk ass kid. Like, I don't want that. Like the world.
Oh man, stuff. Listen.
No, I was like, I don't want. You can't be crying at every little thing. Like it's gonna be tough. So I need her to be resilient. Like I was like, you gotta be resilient.
I agree with you 100%.
I also couldn't have a dumb kid because I don't think that I would do well. I would be probably an abusive parent if I had a dumb child. Like I like talk to some kids and I'm like, I don't know how their parents deal because the kid is not that bright. And I don't think I could survive with a dumb kid. So like these are things like as a new parent, like I was very concerned about. And like on my parenting journey, I'm like, I gotta make sure she, knows how to figure things out. And if I'm not here, I want her to have survival skills. Like she can make it without me. Like that's been the whole point. Like I gotta raise this person so they can live on their own at some point.
If Christy didn't have common sense, I would be terrified.
Right. You gotta have common sense. You gotta have like critical thinking skills. Like I can't, like there's a lot of people who don't have this, like in our age group. Like you talk to them and you're like, how did you
even get to this point?
Like how do you wake up every day and live? Like there are people that are like, I'm like, how's this? I just don't want one of those. I was like, I don't want one of those. Like I would see other people's kids and I was like, I don't want that one. Like I don't want that. Like, I didn't even tell her like, you're a pretty cool person. Like I like you as a person, not just because you're my child. Like there are a lot of people's children that I've met and I'm like, ugh. Like, well, because I think about like your kid seems really cool. Like you seem like from the social media posts that I've seen, he seems really cool. I'm like, that's probably a cool kid.
He's very laid back.
But there are other people's children, you see them, you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how that's going to work out. Like, glad it's not mine. That's all I got. And that might sound like make me a jerk, but whatever. Like, it is what it is.
You're on vacation. You can be a jerk on vacation. Well, you'll be a nice person when you come back.
Yeah. I mean, I do want children to have their needs met and education and health and all that. But when I interact one-on-one with kids, I'm like, some kids, I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, okay. You sent me a screenshot.
Yes, this is what I wanted to. I was waiting for this. Okay,
yeah. Yes. So I'm gonna put it on the thing. You want to read it, or you want me to read it?
Oh, I can read it.
Okay, go ahead, because you sent it to me.
I did. Okay, so this is a post from Reddit, from the subreddit r/no stupid questions, and this was a woman with the username satisfaction cool 9718, and she asked, do guys usually only approach girls they think they have a realistic shot with? And this is the body of her post. I've noticed that sometimes the guys who approach me tend to be ... let's just say not conventionally attractive. It's made me wonder, do people, especially guys, tend to approach only those they think are within their quote unquote league? Like, are they more likely to shoot their shot with someone they think will say yes rather than who they're most attracted to? I am not trying to debate anyone, just trying to understand about how attraction, self-esteem, and social dynamics work when it comes to making a move. I would love to hear your thoughts, especially from guys.
All right. All right. I'm going to let you take the lead on that one because you're a guy.
Okay. So because this is why I wanted to. So first of all, I wanted to just kind of like say what I thought about it. And then I've been waiting to hear yours. So
I have some thoughts, but
okay.
I'm gonna let you go. So is that a thing? Like, do guys only approach the women that they feel like they have a chance with? Is that a thing?
Okay. So what I will say is just as a preamble, I will say that I can only speak to my personal experience and the experience of the men that are kind of around me in my circle.
Right.
Right. So that is anecdotal at best. So everyone's mileage may vary, but I'm just going to tell you how I've seen it pretty much my entire life.
Right.
I have tended to, in terms of my friendships, attract men who have a strong sense of self.
Right.
And those who don't have that kind of went by the wayside in my life, not because we had any kind of falling out, but because like we just kind of do different things. And this isn't me trying to like hype myself up like, oh, I'm the coolest guy in the world. My lighting is still off. I'm way too dark, and I haven't figured this out for weeks. So like I'm not a perfect person. Right. However, I believe in myself. And if I believe. So if I see a woman and I think that she has something that, you know, draws me in, be it, you know, and the thing is, I've dated women of all shapes, sizes, colors. I tend to lean more towards Black women because it is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. But I've dated white girls, Asian girls, Native American girls, whatever, like everything. But I've never gone into a scenario where I found myself drawn to a woman and I said, I'm not going to talk to her.
Right.
I've always been the type of person that judges each individual person on their own merits. So you might have someone who is, you know, conventionally unattractive, but is just like the best person in the world. And it's like, I want to be near this person. I want to talk to this person. You might have someone who is modeling for Vogue or what have you, and is just a jerk. Or you might have a woman who's modeling for Vogue, but you feel like, wow, like I think I have a connection with this person.
Right.
I've never in my life thought, man, she's too beautiful for me. She's too smart for me.
Okay.
Most of the guys that I, you know, kind of interact with in my daily life, like if you saw a lot of them, you'd be like, she's way better looking than me. But that's because they believe in themselves. I don't know. So,
I'm going to break this down.
Okay. So I was going to say one more thing. So, but what I will say is I have interacted with men that approach it that way. And a lot of those men tend to be the ones who lean more towards more of like the incel red pill talking points because they have almost like a internal lack of confidence that they haven't reckoned with for whatever reason. And it could be anything, because I've had guys that are like, you know, so like I'm 5'10". I'm not a gigantic man. I'm like a regular size man, right? I don't have any hair. I've talked to guys that are like my height, and they're like, oh, everybody just wants someone that's 6 foot. Or, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like,
I'm all right. I'm
fine.
Okay, I'm gonna break this down.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. In my experience, there are 3 types of men. Okay. Somebody usually falls. You fall in, or there's the.
I forgot to turn the oven off. Keep talking. I can hear you. I'm sorry.
There's 3 types of men. There's the guy that is very confident in himself, has good self-esteem, is like, I don't mind approaching women. There's the guy that is not confident in himself at all, who is always struggling with his self-esteem. Yes. So that's two. And then there's the third guy. That is the really unattractive, knows he's unattractive guy who understands that it doesn't matter. It's a numbers game, and they have a high amount of confidence. Okay, so those are the three guys that I see in the world. Regular, like guy, it can be a regular, super handsome guy. It doesn't matter who has high confidence. It doesn't matter. High confidence men who lack confidence in the middle, low self-esteem, struggling with something, and then there's this really like hideous troll guy who just like, it's a numbers game, and they got a lot of confidence. They know they're ugly. They be like, okay, those are the three types of men. In my experience, the first type and the last type will approach no matter what. They find you attractive, they're on it. You know, they have confidence. I'm just saying,
no, wait. I'm letting you cook because I'm letting you fall
in the first category. You're like, I'm attracted, I'm going in. What do you have to lose? Show lots of confidence, knows it's a number game, son. He knows he's going to get rejected, but he knows, hey, if I keep going in, somebody's going to say yes. Those two guys are always going
so he's like,
I'm those two guys, it doesn't matter. They see, I see it, I like it, I'm on it. Like those two. Guy in the middle. He could be handsome, he could be ugly. Doesn't matter physically. He can be tall, he can be short. When he lacks confidence, those guys will see a woman they're super attracted to and will stare her down to eternity. They will just stare at you from afar. They'll stalk you. They won't approach you unless it's on the internet and they can send you a DM. However, those men, if they think there's a woman that's beneath them, they will approach her. And then they will get mad if she rejects them because they feel like, I'm better than you. How dare you reject me? So that's been my experience. I've seen those three types of men all the time. I've seen them out. And that's what this woman is struggling with. I don't know if she's dealing with type 3 and type 2. It depends on whether it was a type 3 or type 2 situation. But 1 and 3 doesn't matter. They're always going to approach women. They see something, they're on it. And it tickles me because the confident troll ugly guy, it's like, you gotta laugh because he knows. Like, he knows who he is. He's just like, you can say no. And I know that, but I will never know if you could say yes if I don't ask. And so I'm not even mad at that guy because they just go for it. But at the same time, it's like, you do have a moment when that guy approaches you like, me? You talking to me? Like, are you serious? Like, you know I'm gonna reject you. Like, you know this. Why are you putting us through this? But those three guys, it depends on which guy it was. I have to see what you're dealing with. But those guys in the middle, those are the dangerous ones.
Yeah. No, and I think, and again, I think we're on the same page here because, like I said, like the guys that, and like look, I'm not gonna say that I'm super close friends with people like this all the time because I really don't try to be. But I'm in group chats. I'm in like sports things. Spoiler alert: men like sports a lot of times. So like I'm in this like UFC group because I like fighting. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. But like in the in that sphere, there's gonna be certain types of guys. That's just kind of what it is.
Right.
And there are guys that like I'll see talking and stuff, and they'll say things, and you can kind of tell where their mind's at, where it's like, yeah, like you've like some girl left you because you're 5'11". You know what I mean? Or like some girl did something to you and you just internalized that and like you never got over it. You don't have
there's a lot of men who have not gotten over a middle school rejection.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
and I'm just like, you remember middle school? Like she rejected me, and they have the revenge fantasy of the girl that rejected them in middle school or high school, and they grew up and made some money, and then she wants him. That fantasy, like you see the memes all the time, and I'm like, dude, that woman is not even thinking about you. She doesn't remember middle school at all. Like she don't remember you.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember on like back in the day, like on like Jenny Jones or Ricky Lake, they would have the episode where it's like, hey, you bullied me.
Oh yeah, you bully me and look at me now. Like
look at me now. And then every now and then, like, because sometimes the person will be like, wow, you look great. But then sometimes they'd be like, all right, like that was high school. I don't care.
Right. Like again, I didn't go to high school, but like
I know,
I was an adolescent, and there were people that were a-holes to me. Like seriously, I got teased for everything when I was really thin. I got called olive oil, all of the things. Yeah. I don't even care about those people that did that to me.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't like. I think it's, you know what? I even had a moment with somebody who, like, I grew up in the neighborhood with, and he was asshole. Oh my god! Like this dude, I would go to school, catch the bus home. He would be waiting at the bus stop for me to get off the bus to walk to my house. Like I had to walk from the bus stop to my house. He'd be waiting at the bus stop for me to get off the bus so he could talk badly about me and like follow me all the way home. And I would just ignore him all the way home. Like it was a level of ridiculousness. Like even then I remember thinking like, I'm not saying anything because it was weird. I sometimes would say something but I was mostly a fighter. So I was like, let me just be cool and just walk home. He was an asshole all those years as a teenager. Mm-hmm. And I moved away. I moved back to DC for law school. And I actually did run into him at a nightclub. And it was funny because I was like, I was like, I see you, but I'm going to act like I don't know you. Right. Because there was nothing for me to say. And it was funny because you could see that he wanted to say something. And I was like, dude, if you say something to me, I'm going to diss you so bad. Like, I was like, don't do it. Like, I was like, I have a drink. I was like, don't even say anything because I'm going to just diss you so hard. Like, you know, I'm going to diss you hard. He knows.
Are you, but by any chance, are you familiar with the HBO series from years ago, True Blood?
No, I didn't watch it. I know. I've heard.
It's fine. It's fine. To make a long story short, it's about vampires and werewolves and all that kind of stuff. Mm. So in the world of the vampires, right, the vampires have this thing called abjuring, right? So if a guy and a girl vampire are together, right, and one of the I keep saying if one of the werewolves does something to the other werewolf, the one werewolf can be like, I abjure you. And what that means is it's like, even if I see you in the street, I don't know who you are. I don't see you. Like I can't even
really. What happened? It was so funny because
that's what it reminds me of.
I was sitting there and I saw him. I did, but I didn't see him. I was like, I don't know you, but I was like, and it was like the like it was packed, and he was right next to me, and I was like drinking my drink. Like if you say something, because I'm gonna act like I don't know you, I don't see you, but if you say something to me, I'm going to dish you so hard. Yeah. And I watched this dude. He eventually just went. Like he just shook his head and he just turned around and walked away because he knew. He was like,
he knew that you had moved on in a different way,
right? And I'm not.
That's why I brought up the abjuring thing. Because
right. It was like there was
a metaphor for that type of moving on, where it's like this person can't even affect you in that way anymore.
Because I'm like waiting for the teasing. There's nothing that you can say to me that's gonna hurt my feelings. It didn't hurt my feelings then. It was just annoying. But it was like, to me, it's like, why are you guys trying to prove something to these people who are mean to you when it's just nothing? It's just like you move on. You go on with your life. You move forward. Like if you happen to run into them,
and so be it.
There's nothing to say. Like I wasn't in his face like, look at me now. Like, no, like I don't even know you. And if you say something to me, I'm gonna act like I don't even know you. Like it was such a funny moment. Because I was like, and he was the worst. To me, he was really, and I think about like people are like, oh, this person bullied me and it ruined my life. I'm like, really? The bullying ruined your life? And I realized
I think it comes down to confidence. And I'm not trying to sit here and say we're the coolest people in the world. I mean, we kind of are, but you know, I don't, you've never struck me as the type of person who lacks confidence. Right.
I mean, I definitely, when I was a teenager, I struggled with all of the stuff that people struggle with. Like,
no, but I mean, I didn't meet you as a teenager.
I know, but I mean,
I'm saying you in the moment that
we all have moments where we're struggling with something. We're all human. And I think that people act like there's these people that never lose confidence. We all have those moments. I struggle with so many things. I struggle with being a mom or taking care of myself or, just life or just in general. And I have moments where I feel really low. But what I don't get from when I see other people talking about it ruined my life, like, especially because I see a lot of light-skinned women talking about the black women bullied me. And I'm like, we all light-skinned women, we all have very similar experiences, whether we're mixed or not, in the black community. I mean, I got called white girl as a kid. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's just an experience of a light-skinned person in the black community. Big freaking deal. But when I see people like, oh, black people ruined it and then it ruined my life, I'm like, I went through the same things and I don't understand how it's ruined you. Like, I have a hard time. Right. Like, you're struggling. I was like, just get, okay, go to a therapist or something, work on your, like self-esteem. But this experience shouldn't ruin you because it's not that traumatic. There are things that are way more traumatic than being teased as a kid. Like, I got teased as a kid. I know a lot of people get teased as kids. And you just move on, you grow up. But seeking this moment to like prove to the person that who was a child, by the way.
That's the thing. You're like, look at me now. Look at me. When I brought up the Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake example, that was the other thing that was in my mind. It's like you were talking about someone that was like 11.
Right. They were like, okay, they were, at the most they were 16, and like they're still maturing. People do dumb stuff. We've all done dumb stuff as a kid. Our socialization, especially back then, teasing people, that was like life. Like, like
man, listen, some of my best friends to this day, like, we teased each other, like, right. And sometimes with some people, I don't want to generalize, but particularly with men, I know that a lot of men, like, when we get in a group, we just bust each other's balls, and it's kind of like a bonding thing. Where it's like, when my friend says like, "Oh, I know you're bald," I'm like, "I know you're short," and I know, and we all just kind of. But if you're not used to that dynamic, like
I said, if you're in our age group, you should have been able to get through whatever teasing. It should not be affecting you at this point in your life. I think for me as a parent, when I heard about cyberbullying, I'm like I still struggle with the concept because I'm like, I get it. People can say really mean things about it. People have said really mean things about me on the internet.
You know who you're talking to?
I've had all sorts of mean things, but I'm like, at the same time.
You know the death threats I get, right?
Like, you just go on with your life because it's irrelevant. And people, like, they'll be like, the only people that salivate over internet gossip are people that don't like you anyway. So F them. Like, let's move along.
Like, who cares?
Right. So what are you upset about? That some people that already don't like you are salivating over some BS that somebody made up? Like, I don't care. Like, when people like, I have seen some amazing stories about myself. People say, you ever get a screenshot, you're like, wow, that's crazy, I did what?
there is a specific pro Kevin Samuels group where I want to say at least like 20 or 30 guys in that group downloaded pictures of my son and I in Miami Beach.
Right. Like, I think I remember that.
Look at these two sassy.
They were really weird. And I was like,
really weird about it. I'm like,
you guys realize that you guys are being really weird. Like, this says more about you.
So it's like a father and son at the pool. They're like, why don't y'all got shirts on? Like, why are y'all wearing shirts at the pool? Like, what?
Well, it's just like, why are y'all
looking at my son's body? What's happening?
Right. Like, the fact that you took these pictures and are trying to make it into something weird makes you weird. Like, I saw those, like, I think you posted it, like, look at this craziness. Yeah. And I was like, bruh, these are some weird, like, it was more about them, what they were trying to make it into, than anything to do with you. And like I said, that's how it is when you deal with people who make up things about you online or whatever. They're the people that are going to jump into it and salivate over it and be like, oh, ooh, you're with your son. Those people don't like you anyway. And those people are usually irrelevant to your life anyway. So it's like, okay, I don't care what you think. And then the people like me who know you and saw them, I was like, these are some freaking weirdos right here. Like, this is crazy. Like, y'all are strange that you made this. Like, because it wasn't a thing. First of all, whatever they were trying to do, it just failed like really miserably. And the ones that were like, yeah, this is like those people were like, okay, you're really weird. Like, I was like, you're like, you need to be on a watch list or something.
I want to tell you a quick story. So there was this guy, his name was Kawan Todd. All right.
Oh yeah, he's in my didn't he email me?
I think he did. The point
I love you.
He was one of the people that was like, oh, look at you and your topless son. I bet you're molesting him and all that. Like all kinds of weird shit.
And he needs to be on a watch list.
He really needs to be on a watch list because what I did was because I don't really, take kindly to people talking about my son like that. Right. I went in, I did my research, found his mother and his father. I had a conversation with his parents. Like I actually got them on the phone. They told me about his bipolar diagnosis. They told me about, like all the things going wrong in his life. And when his ex left him, he got into red pill manosphere stuff. And he spends all of his days just like talking shit about people and all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. The reason I'm even bringing any of this stuff up is because I'm going back to that middle section of the three men you described. The ugly trolls, right? The good looking, or at least whatever.
Like, they don't. It can be arranged. There's the people who are
no. That's why I was trying to paraphrase it, but you know what I mean. But then this guy's in that middle group.
Yep.
He's in that middle group where, for whatever reason, he has insecurities. He's like about
homeless. I think I remember.
He's about 5'2", just based on like the height difference between him and his daughter. But like his mother told me that he has a bipolar diagnosis. He doesn't take his medicine. Like all of these things. So you were saying not to give these. It's like, why give these people energy? Like after a while, once he kind of presented who he was, I'm like, why even give any energy to this guy? He's clearly off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know I know I might be jumping back and forth, but I wanted to ask you, because I feel like we got a little off track, but whatever.
We do that all the time. We do that every time.
Yeah, that's par for the course. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever felt like you were out of a man's league and then approached him? Like like the reverse of the scenario.
Approaching men doesn't happen. Like that's just
okay. That's the first thing. Have you ever approached a man?
No. I am very good at getting the man I'm interested in to approach me. I'm good at that. Like if I show up and I lock eyes on somebody, I'm like, hey.
Is it just like an eye lock thing, or?
Well, it's like if I go to something and I see a guy that I think is attractive, I know how to get him to engage, but I don't approach him. Like I'm not a person like, hi, like I don't do that. No, I will, like if it's like at a bar or a concert and I'm like, okay, then I know how to give the eye contact, but not too much.
Right.
The smile, but not too much.
The context clues, like some nonverbal.
Like know how to be in an approachable space, because you have to be in a place where a man is like, oh, I can see you and you look like you're by yourself. And they, eventually will show up. Like I know how to do that. I have never felt or been in a space where I was like, oh, that person's out of my league. No, I've never done that. And I don't, that's not an ego thing. I've just never.
No. And the thing is, when I said it, I knew how that can come off.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he must think he's just the best looking guy. if
like
I
I
was,
know that there are men that are not attracted to me, and I don't have an issue with that. Like I know that there are men who
everybody ain't for everybody.
I know this. Like I know that I'm not their cup of tea, and I don't care because generally the men who don't like me are the men I don't like. So it's like it's a mutual like okay, like we're good. Like he's not neither one of us are hurting any feelings because like man, it's not because they're like I will say there are these types of black men that just rub me the wrong way, and they're usually very well off income wise, and
Okay.
they have this they have a very they're very what is the word
Wait.
they're like
Can I guess? I'm not saying I'm right, but does it seem like the kind of guys that are almost chasing whiteness?
yes, in fact I interacted with one that was a friend of a friend. I was with a friend that was their friend, and dude, I could tell he doesn't even date black women. Like I know, like I could. As soon as I met, I was like, oh no, And it's not that he wasn't. He was a former athlete. He was tall. He was handsome. I know a lot of black women would really like to date a man like him, who was well off. But in educate all of those things. He was all the things that a lot of people are looking for. But to me, and even though he wasn't rude to me, he wasn't mean to me, I just like for me, I could just feel the like the ick for me. I could feel it in the air, and I was like, oh, this is not a dude that but I run across those men a lot. Like I run in, the circles that I'm in, I run into these men a lot. I run into a lot of and I know that there's all these like
I'm sorry. Keep that thought because I didn't want to interrupt you. But you said circles you run in. I want to come back to that because it was something that I talked to a guy. No, go ahead.
So there's a lot of misinformation about how black men don't date black women or wealthy black men. And that's not true. Like 85% of married wealthy black men are married to a black woman. So like every time I hear that, I'm like, that's bull. There are certain well-off black men who are part of that red pill foolishness who like don't want to date black women, and that's fine because like I said, most of us are good. We're like, cool, go to your preference. We don't care. But there are times when I have to interact with these guys, and it's just like you can tell they want you to feel a way sometimes. And this guy didn't do that, but some of them do. Like they want you to like. I remember I was at a after party concert thing, and it was a black dude who wasn't well off, I will say that, but he was part of that circle. He was like a bodyguard for somebody famous, and he was trying his best to get a reaction from me because he was like, oh, and we don't date black women, and like I was just like, I wouldn't date you, right? Like I wouldn't like there's nothing about you. Like first of all, you're a bodyguard for this dude, and I like that's not even like I think a lot of times sometimes these dudes who do like bodyguard work, they feel like they're famous too, and it's like no one cares about you, dude.
Keep talking. I gotta check something.
The thing that was crazy to me is like his girlfriend eventually showed up, and she was the most unattractive white woman I had seen in a very long time. And I was just like, you're talking badly about black women while dating this woman, which happens a lot. Like a lot of men who date.
It's very common.
It's very common. So then I had a good laugh because I was like, you're talking all this trash about black women and trying to get me to react, which I wasn't reacting because I was like, nobody wants you. Like, obviously nobody wants you because look at who you're with. She wants you because she feels like you're elevating her above black women, and that's fine. I don't care. But that happens a lot.
That's the thing, like a lot of people look at relationships for whatever reason as like elevation, like, oh, if like and I think this is a thing a lot of men do. Like right. At least I've seen, where it's like, oh, if I get this woman or like for whatever reason, my status will be raised. It's
right. It's like
connection with somebody or like loving somebody.
Yeah, there's a lot of black men who think dating a white woman, regardless of her attractiveness or whatever, elevates them. And it's like, to me, whenever he obviously had low self-esteem because he was just kept picking to try to get a reaction, and I was just not reacting because I really literally don't care. Like the black dudes that date white women, I don't care. Like I don't care.
It's like, who cares? Like, do whatever you want. I don't like.
I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. But even the way he was trying to say triggering things about Black women and trying to get me to get, like, he was trying to get an argument, and it was just like, okay, like. But then when his girlfriend showed up, I definitely laughed in his face. Like, I was like, "This you?" And then I just laughed, and it was that was enough. Like, that was enough. Like, I think that sometimes you don't have to do much. You just gotta let things play out. But
Let things play out. Like, there's been so many times where I mean, I know that this is a different thing that I'm kind of saying, but there's been so many times in relationships where I've kind of just let them play out. And I've let people kind of reveal themselves. And it's like, okay, well, like, this is who you are. And then I have the decision to whether or not, like, go with.
And it's like I said, it's all like, if you, how do I put this? Like I said, I run across all types of people all the time. And I know, like I said, for me, I don't generally run into men that would be out of my league, but also the men who wouldn't date me, I wouldn't date. So it's like,
so it's not a league situation.
It's like there's a reason why you're giving me the ick. I wouldn't date you anyway. So it's like, that's pretty much been my experience my whole adult life. Like, because I've had all sorts of crazy, things, and I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Like, that's just not. This is not for me. And that's okay.
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
And like there have been people that I've dated that have been great people.
Mm-hmm.
Did nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I've been like, this doesn't work for me.
Right. And that's okay. Like, we going back to the beginning. Like, we want everyone, if you pair up in a relationship, we want you to be in a healthy one. We want both people in the relationship to be healthy. And if it's bad for one and good for the other, that's not a healthy relationship. Like, it's okay.
I would never. I think the statute of limitations on this story, it was long enough ago where I don't think she would care. So, I was dating this girl. This was years ago. Mm-hmm. She absolutely didn't like that I tried to foster friendships and relationships, and male or female. Mm-hmm. I want to be clear. Like, it wasn't like a dating. Like, it wasn't like she thought I was like out here like sucking on titties and licking pussy and stuff. Okay. I'm just trying to.
You're in the room.
Oh God, I forgot. I forgot. I'm sorry. No, but my point is, okay, I'll keep it PG. Oh man, now I feel bad.
It's okay.
All right. No, but like it was she just didn't want me to spend time with other people.
Yeah, and that's unhealthy. That's weird. That's possessive.
And I was that's
like, a red flag. The red flag say,
it's like, I can't do this. It's like, you're really mad because I'm playing video games at an arcade with three men, like three grown men.
That's a red flag. It's so possessive. They don't want you to like hang out with people. That's definitely a red flag. And speaking of red flags, we ain't talking about Diddy.
Diddy! You know what? I feel like we're kind of on the same, we're simpatico in terms of time, because like we were talking, we had some preamble, and then as soon as I was like, we need to talk, and you had the screenshot of the Reddit post, and then as soon as I was like,
we gotta talk about Diddy.
It's like
I gotta get to the pool, but we gotta talk about Diddy.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if we'll get to the bisexual donuts though.
I mean, listen, we only have, but
maybe they're all to intertwine. Okay, Diddy, how do we feel? How are we feeling?
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
I never thought they were gonna charge him on the RICO stuff.
Yeah. I knew it was not going to be good when the defense called no witnesses. When I read that, I was like, well, that's an interesting, moment that the defense was like, yeah, we ain't gonna call nobody. I was like, nobody, not one. Okay.
So first thought, not surprised. Second thought, glad that he was at least still detained for now. Mm-hmm. I thought, I don't want to call that a victory because, my goodness, like, I don't want to move the Overton window that far. It's like, no, like, that's not a but I'm just glad that he didn't get to just walk out of jail that day.
Right.
Right.
That would have been too much.
But 3, and this is the most important one, and this is the one that's either going to age like wine or age like milk.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that Diddy is going to be more of an OJ or an R. Kelly than other people who have gotten away with things. Because
I'm trying not to cuss. Did you see?
Hear me out. This is what I'm trying to say. So OJ, I mean, listen, he killed those people, right? Like he killed them, right? Like he killed them.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, look. In terms of how the justice system and everything worked, I'm happy. Like I have mixed feelings on OJ.
Right. I have mixed feelings on OJ too.
But he killed those people, right? So, but the problem with OJ,
he said, if I did it, this is how I would have done it.
Like I would have done it, right? Exactly. So, but this is the thing: OJ couldn't stay out of trouble. So what happened? He did that thing with his Heisman Trophy in the hotel room and like was kidnapping people.
To lock OJ up though. They
were no. I mean, they were looking to lock OJ up, and OJ gave them a reason to lock him up.
The difference between OJ and Diddy.
Well,
OJ killed a white lady and a white dude. Allegedly. I'm gonna keep saying that. I don't want nobody coming for me. That was, and she was the blonde and pretty, and you know, they were out for revenge with OJ. Now, R. Kelly and Diddy, most of their victims were not
black women.
Well, they were not blonde white women,
right? But that's what I'm saying. I think that's why I'm like.
I don't think
OJ. We can push him into a corner. R. Kelly. The thing is, he molested children. It was on tape. We knew it, and he kind of got away with it. Like he was still touring and releasing records with Jay-Z and stuff, but he couldn't help himself.
No,
and he had to keep doing the type of stuff. So that's more the point that I'm making. What I'm saying is, if he gets a slap on the wrist, let's say he gets a year.
The thing is, they're definitely, I don't know. I think the 2 counts he was found guilty on have terms up to 10 years, both of them.
But are they gonna? And I'm asking.
I don't know. The judge didn't let him out of court that day. I mean, didn't let him out of jail that day. So it's the sentencing.
Let me ask you, because again, you are the legal expert. Could he? Because this is what I thought might happen. Could he just get time served for like?
I don't know, because like I said, both of those felony charges have up to 10-year sentencing. Mm-hmm. So he's been in jail for a year. And the judge did not let him out after the trial. So I'm not sure, because the judge does not seem to like him very much. So I don't know what they're going to sentence him, what his sentence will be. However, what I have always found disturbing and disgusting is the amount of Black people who celebrate these predators who prey on Black women. Like these, and I don't want to use the word, but those people who were outside the courthouse, men and women, celebrating that he didn't get found guilty on 3 of the charges. What is happening? Like, what?
Do you remember that episode of the Boondocks?
Yes, it was that.
It was literally that. It was
that, and I'm just like, I remember like Black folks, men especially, with a few Black women being mad at me because I was like, R. Kelly's a predator, and they be like, they get all mad, and it's like, stop! I don't get this part of our community that defends the predators. Like, it just, for me, it's like, so what you're saying is, as long as he's hurting Black people, Black women, let me be specific. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As long as Black women and Black boys are being harmed, you'll accept the abuse because checks notes. They make good music. Like, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what is the excuse. Is it because you can dance to it?
Let me tell you something. I have literally dated a woman. I'm not going to name her, but I dated a woman, and I was railing against Chris Brown's violence and saying how there was
That's
no
another
excuse
one.
for it.
That's
And
another
wait,
one. Is it
and wait, I had this woman say to my face, well, like, if you were mouthing off at me and you did what Chris Brown did to me, like, I would understand. Like, what are we? So, like, I could just punch you in the mouth? What's happened? Like
like I said,
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I hear shit.
It's like we're taking crazy pills because this part of our community who's always been here, it's always been here. We accept this abuse from these black men towards black women and black children. This is a thing that we.
But the scary thing for me is that, again, it's not like, it would be one thing if it was just coming from the men. Like,
no, but it's coming from the women too.
This is a woman that looked me in the face and basically
no, for me too. It's like the women. It's the women too, and it's like, is it because he made you dance? I'm trying to figure out the reason because it doesn't make sense to me. He's like, you like it's a lot of music that I like, but like I don't need to listen to it if it's about abusing, black women and children. Like F R. Kelly. You know what I mean? R. Kelly's trash. Like, I don't have any R. Kelly music. I don't buy any R. Kelly music. I hope he rots in jail. Like he's trying to get out. Like, nah, leave him in there. Now, the Diddy thing is interesting because my daughter, she laughs at me because every time I hear a song that Diddy produced, I'm like, dang, Diddy is as a monster. And she goes, why are you saying that? And I was like, oh, he made this song. There are so many songs
that he had a part of.
Yeah, he was so many artists, so many songs that he was a part of. Like, he is literally woven into 90s hip hop and R&B, and he's everywhere. And it's like, how is this impacting me as a person who listens to music? This guy has he's not necessarily the artist on all these songs, but he produced these songs. He's in the background, like like he's all in everybody's songs. Like, he's always dancing in the videos, all of that. Like, how does that impact how we consume art? And again, just because I like that song does not mean I'm like, oh, pro Diddy. Like, Diddy needs to stay in jail, and I hope he stays.
Well, let me. Can I? So, can you let me be a nerd for a second?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Just give me a little space to nerd out. So, I'm a big pro wrestling fan, right? I have been my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
There was a wrestler, and you may be familiar with this, but just let me kind of like explain it and give the. So let me just give the explanation just for the viewers and stuff. So, there was a wrestler by the name of Chris Benoit. Okay, Chris Benoit was very popular. He was popular in the most popular era of pro wrestling. He was someone that I absolutely loved watching work. Just very good. All right. Chris Benoit, for reasons that will never be clearly known, some people have speculated that he had CTE. Some people speculated that he had a problem with steroids, and that caused the incident I'm about to describe. But we'll never know because he may have just been a bad person. We don't know. He may have been a bad person, but what he ended up doing was murdering his young son. I think his name is Daniel, like 7-8 years old. His wife Nancy, and then killing himself.
Yeah, I think I remember. The name sounds familiar. The incident sounds like I read it in an article. Like,
so this was like 18 years ago. This is like 2007. And the reason I bring this up is because the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, biggest wrestling company in the world, once the details of what happened with Chris Benoit and his family, came to light, they scrubbed his footage. He's just been persona non grata. So you won't look at, let's say they just show a compilation video of like past legends or what have you, or an old clip on their current shows, right? Today's Saturday, so last night they had their show Friday Night SmackDown. If they were to show any old footage on a show like that, it would not include Chris Benoit. If you go to their web, they're just like, no, this is wrong. Like, he's not the guy. Like, we're not going to promote this. He's not going to the Hall of Fame. We don't care. We don't care how good his matches were. We don't care how good his character was or how memorable it was or how many people grew up, loving that wrestler, that character, etc. Like, he killed people. That's it.
Right.
That's what I feel like we need in our community. And I don't know why we don't have more of it.
I absolutely agree with you. And I will say within my personal circle, we are like that. Like me, we're like F Diddy and all the people that with him and the people that I follow. If they're like, if you're a Diddy apologist, like you unfollow me now, block me now. Like there's there's us and then there's them. And them been problematic on many things. Like, it's this type of stuff, it's the MAGA stuff, it's not voting stuff. It's like, I need this section of our community that is just like so like hard-headed and ignorant and like just willing to like do stupid stuff because they don't understand or I like his music. I don't know how to get this section on board. Like how do we get, is that why Harriet Tubman carried a gun? Like is this like, I mean, like is that what we got to do? Because this section is really it's messing us up. Like we're good on this side, but we just can't seem to get this group right here to understand, like, okay, listen, when people cause harm to us, we need to kick them to the moon or whatever because they not with us. They hurting us. Like, I don't understand because, we've all had those conversations with this group. We all know one or two, maybe even related to us in this group. And when you have a conversation, you just end up like holding your head.
It gets exhausting.
It's exhausting, and it's like, what do we need to do?
But one thing that I struggle with, and I'm just being honest, and I'm not sitting here trying to just shit on men, right? But like, but I deal with a lot of men, right? Mm-hmm. And one thing I struggle with is the same way you're describing we run in a lot of the same circles. We know a lot of the same people online. So we run in those circles that kind of better reflect what we're thinking and how we're feeling. Like, I don't know I'm sure if we really sat here and thought about it, we could find some things we disagree with. But for the most part, I think you and I are like on the same page.
I'm sure that there's probably some music we'd be like, what?
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, you like this?
Yeah, right. I don't know, but I'm
not mad at it.
a lot of the men that I interact with, this is something I struggle with. Frankly, it's I don't want to cut them off and just say, oh, like, well, I'm just gonna talk to people that don't think like you because I really want to try and change hearts and minds, and I have friends and work colleagues and people that I just know through just groups and all that. It's like, if this guy is sitting here saying some bullshit, do I disengage from my mental health or do I engage and try and like win this mind over? And that's something I struggle with all the time.
I don't know. Like, I don't try to win minds over. Like, I don't. I think I used to. I was very passionate about, like, especially with voting. I remember, long time ago, before we were in the predicament we are in now, I was the person that was always telling people, hey, you got to vote in the midterms. Like, we got to make sure that Congress is filled with people we want to represent us. And
I'm listening.
Yeah, the eye rolls that I would get, like, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I voted for president. And I'm like, all the elections matter. Your local elections matter. The midterms matter. Every single thing, everything that you want your government to do, you got to be an active participant. And I remember like the silence and the eye rolls that I would get when I would do this. And I was like, you know what? We're screwed. Like, I think I came to the conclusion.
Eventually, you were like, some of these people aren't going to listen.
No, it's not even some. I was like, not enough people understand. And I just slowly transitioned to being very passionate, to trying to convince people or get them to change their minds, to realizing that the amount of people that care and understand what's going on is way too small. And the only way that these people are going to care or to understand is if it affects them personally. and something bad happens. And that's pretty much where we are now.
Yeah, I mean,
and to not to say that I'm being mean, I'm indifferent because after years and decades really of me really trying to educate people and trying to counter the ignorance online, like if you look at my posts 10 years ago compared to now, I was really trying to get people to realize what was happening on the internet. Like these people are getting out, these men are getting out of control.
oh no, I mean, listen, not to sit here and suck my own dick, but I've been consistent for like 15 years. Like,
and then you'll notice that it shifts from me saying anything to like, well, that's what they get. Like, I'm just like, I'm at this point where I'm like, well, you got to suffer because you weren't listening and you thought that people like me were over the top or, you're doing too much or, that doesn't really matter. And it does. Like these midterms matter. Like, I think that we'll see an uptick in voting this next year, next November, for Congress because people have lost their health care and like all of these things that are affecting people out. I noticed like now they're like, oh my God, how did this happen? Well, now that you ask, when Obama was elected president and the midterms came up, none of you all voted to keep the Democrats in power. So then we didn't get the Supreme Court nomination we were supposed to because these assholes blocked it. Then they filled up the Supreme Court and now everything is messed up. We're in a constitutional crisis, but y'all weren't listening.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you feel about third-party candidates, specifically?
We're a two-party system. If you want to affect change right now, you cannot vote for a third-party candidate. I get it. Don't get like I think that some of the third parties what they do is bring things to light. They bring issues that may have been swept under the rug that need to be discussed, and I appreciate what they do. But we are a two-party system. We ain't got time for this.
That's it. At the end of the day, here's the thing. So the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I have a couple of friends of mine that have. And I'm not going to mention them by name because I don't want them to think I'm
they can't win. Every time I'm like, oh my God, they can't win. The third party is never going to win.
Here's the thing. If any third party wants a legitimate chance at winning the White House, what you have to do is you have to build on a grassroots level from the ground up. What you need to do is you need to have a Green Party comptroller, city councilman at large.
Right, you got to get all the way up.
You have to build it from the ground up because at the end of the day, when you look at the most successful candidates for presidency since the Whigs and the Federalist Party and shit, right? For a long time, it's just been the two-party system. Ross Perot in 1992 ran as an independent, right? But how many electoral college votes did he get? Not one.
Right, but he was the only one that made a little ripple, and I keep trying to point out that
92 and 96. Yeah. But when you look at, for example, the Green Party candidate Jill Stein, she hasn't been elected to anything ever. I would love to see her get elected to like city council or something at least.
Right.
But what you can't do is just suddenly jump into the presidential general election and here's the thing. Here's just bear with me one more second because this is something that's been bothering me because a group of people have been making this point. A lot of people make the point where they say Jill Stein running, even if every single Jill Stein voter voted for Kamala Harris, Trump still would have won. The point that I would like to make is that depending on people's internet footprint or their reach, their one singular vote is worth much less than who they advocate for or endorse in public. Meaning, I'm not sitting here, again, trying to suck my own dick, but I got a little bit of a following. I have a page with 37,000 followers. I've had millions of views. I've made national news. People listen to me. They shouldn't because I'm just some weirdo. But if I went into the voting booth and I voted for Jill Stein, and then I went online and I
told people,
wait, and I went online and I said, vote Kamala Harris. I promise you that my post voted to say vote for Harris is worth more than my singular vote for
Right.
Jill Stein. So the point that I'm making when I say that is that this was, first of all, this was not the time for Democrats to have different factions. We have the very far
Here
left
on
progressive
one.
wing that I'm closer
We've been
to.
here all day on that. Like they
What we needed to do, and this is my thing. We've seen all these protests in the streets, right?
right.
Right. Against Trump's, policies and stuff. If all of those protesters in the streets and all of the people that voted for Jill Stein and all of the people that stayed home, like if we get all of these coalitions together, we put Kamala Harris in the White House, and then we can protest her and move the Overton window to the left instead of voting in the big, beautiful bill and taking healthcare and rights away from people.
Like I said, I fully feel like the people who voted for Trump are getting everything they voted for and deserve right now. And I think that they need to have this pain that they voted for, because it's like, no matter what you say, this country got a lot of white people, and a lot of white people voted for Trump, and a lot of people are on Medicaid, and a lot of people are on, government health care, and a lot of people who voted for him are going to lose their hospitals in their small towns. They're going to be suffering immensely because they can't afford their rent and their food. And I think that needs to happen. I think we just need to let this happen, because no matter what we say, no matter what, all the policies that Kamala could have put in and help people buy houses and have education and would benefit everyone, these people are so hell bent on wanting others to suffer that they cannot see that we're on this land is all of us, and it's not theirs. It's never been theirs. And so them voting to harm other people and that harm coming to them, I just feel like this is what you voted for. This is what you get.
But the only thing, listen, I don't disagree with anything you said.
And I think that once they feel it and they suffer a bit and they've already started losing things.
Yeah.
And it's affecting them.
Then
then they'll be like, well, because you see their little, I regret voting for Trump post all the time. I don't care that I'm still laughing at you because you're suffering. But I think that this pain is a necessary pain for them to understand that this is not how things are supposed to be run. And then, and I know a lot of people who didn't vote for Trump are going to suffer too. And that's not.
Well, that's where I really wanted to go with it, because that's what I'm afraid of, because
a lot of people
I absolutely understand your point in regards to, it's like these people need to understand the consequences of their actions. I 100% understand that. But, and when I say this, I'm being like super serious. You look like you could be Dominican.
Oh, I already know. Like, I already know.
Like if ICE comes up to you,
but I've been harassed by police.
They put you in the back of a truck. Like, I've
been harassed by police as just a black person.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, because what a lot of people would, just hear me out. I'm sorry, I don't mean it. I don't mean it, but this is just like, this has been on my mind. Like, so a lot of people they've said things like, and I'm talking about like Hispanic apologists, like the Cuban voters for Trump, all that. They'll say things along the lines of like, oh, well, I can prove that I'm here. Well,
that doesn't matter.
If you don't have your passport and your birth certificate on you at all times,
right? And then it doesn't matter, because some people they're not. These people aren't getting due process. They're just getting picked up in trucks and
taken away. So if you don't have due process, who are you going to prove your citizenship to?
But this is what they wanted. And a lot of white people are going to be affected, because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of white people who think they're white. But when we look at them, we see something else. Yeah. And they're going to be affected too. Like,
I'm just hoping we don't get scooped up in the process. That's
we will. Like I'm saying, there's going to be collateral damage, because we're going to get scooped up. They're trying to deport anybody who has a slightly brown skin tone. Or if they're white and they don't like Trump, because they are checking these like British nationals that are coming in and Canadian. They're checking their phones and deporting them too. So, it's just, we are now in a fascist regime, and it is what it is. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But, it is what it is. Like, we tried. Black people tried to warn you. We tried to help y'all out.
And, it's funny when we talk about people looking at the black vote. I've seen so many, like, the the narrative that black men
didn't vote. It's just crazy.
Like so they
keep trying to pit black men and women against each
other. Look, listen.
It's like, okay.
This is a fact. Black women voted for Kamala Harris more than black men did. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
The 92% is there.
Every poll that I've seen, and polls vary and stuff, but again, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but for black men voting for Harris, it's between 78 and 86%.
Right. I was going to say,
if any group, if you get any group,
it goes black women, black men.
But it's like, if you got 86% of any group, we wouldn't be sitting here saying like, oh, Trump took votes away.
They really want to have this narrative that black men voted for Trump. They did not. You did not.
We didn't. We not at all.
All right. Lou's baby girl said they may regret it, but I don't know if they'll understand what they've done. Not to be insulting, but some of them aren't that smart. They aren't smart. That's why they fell for all the tricks. The thing is crazy to me that this white population of America, the majority of them can't read. They don't have a reading level past 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And they really think they're smarter than the immigrants who are educated, who come here and do things like run hospitals. They're not smart. And the thing is, they gutted, the Republicans gutted the American education system. They started taking away funding for arts, funding for, resources. All of these things happened a long time ago. Like I said, where we are today has been in motion for decades. And people are just we're not paying attention. The alarm bells were ringing. Like I said, that year that they stopped Obama's Supreme Court pick was the beginning of the end. It really was. That was the moment. That was the moment where we should have stood up. We should have protested. We should have been screaming. We should have been calling. That was the moment. And when the Republicans did that, that was it. It's been downhill from there. It allowed Trump to come in and allowed them to stack the Supreme Court. And nobody, it's kind of too late. We got to let it play out. We're at the point where we got to let this play out. And it sucks. But on that note, I'm on vacation and I'm just like, I'm about to go to the pool.
Listen, that I'm right where you are. Man, I was at a water park yesterday.
Yeah, I know they mad at Black Joy, but Black Joy is gonna keep going regardless.
Right.
But I have to point out, we were enslaved in this country 100 years ago, and Black Joy ain't never stopped. It's never stopped.
Listen, I raised an adult son to graduate high school in Trump's America. So I'm doing something right.
So we gonna be all right. Like a lot of people gonna suffer, but we gonna be okay. It's gonna be interesting.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, this might sound like a weird transition, but I've always known how to swim. Right, when I was little, I knew how to swim. When my son first started getting in the pool when he was like 5-6 years old, he started teaching himself how to swim. Right, but even with that being said, I made sure that I got him swimming lessons, like formal swimming lessons, so he could learn how to swim, so he could take care of himself.
Yeah.
Right. And I know swimming is a random analogy to kind of make or whatever, but like I've approached all of my son's life just like that, where I know if I bring my son on a boat and he falls overboard, he could paddle water until somebody comes and gets him a life vest. Like we have to make sure that we are preparing the next generation to kind of, metaphorically have that swimming skill, to be able to keep their head above water when this shit gets real.
That's what Black people have been doing the whole time. Like I think
what's important is our generation has to remember that, because I think with Obama, some of us got complacent, like, oh, like racism.
No, we were complacent before Obama. I have to say that we were complacent before.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
But what I will say, there's a difference between white America and Black America when it comes to what's happening. And white Americans are like freaking out right now because for the first time ever in history, they're being affected negatively by what the government is doing. Black people have always been affected negatively by what the government is doing. It's not the first racist president we've had. We've had racist presidents from the jump. It's not the first time policies have affected us in a negative way. There's always been policies that affected us in a negative way. We have lived in this country under the racism of it the entirety of the country existing. We have been marginalized the entirety of the government existing. We have been forced to not have as much, the entirety. So we have survived. What I think is funny to me is like you keep messing with a group of people who have survived enslavement, Jim Crow, like, you know, policies that were harmful, medical, things that are to harm us, experimentation, and we're still here. Yeah. We're still here. We are still here. We may not be thriving because we have had to start way back here where they've gotten all the wealth, but we're still here. And that survival skill has been passed down generation to generation. And so right now, as bad as things are, why aren't the Black people stressing out? Because we've been here, dog. We've been here the whole time. This has never been the great place.
The water is cold for them, but we've been in the pool for a minute.
Right, exactly. We are used to this. And so we're not freaking out the way they're freaking out because this is just par for the course. This is normal. Hey, racist president, been there, done that. Policies that are really negative against us, been there, done that. Police harassment, been there, done that. Locking us up for no reason, been there, done that. The only new thing I think is the deportations because they're going to send some of us away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, that's happening.
That's happening. They're going to be like, you don't belong here. But outside of that, what is it that's happening that we haven't dealt with already?
So I have about 15 minutes left.
Oh, I don't even have that. I have like 3.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're on the same page. It's fine.
Yeah,
I just wanted to give you a heads up because other than time limitations, I could talk forever. So we could have done this.
I'm going to the pool. I'm about to go to the pool.
Okay.
Yes.
How long are you guys staying?
We'll be here till Tuesday.
Okay. So good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
We won't be chilling. So yeah, we didn't get to the bisexual donuts. Maybe next week.
Oh man,
All right, when you so just to be like, what the hell is a bisexual donut? Let me just point out that Chris posted this thing on his social media about bisexual donuts, and this is the thing about Chris's social media, y'all. I don't like everything.
No one does.
I see everything, and if you go follow him, just quick warning: if you follow him, be prepared mentally, because
everything ain't for everybody.
Listen, I see some stuff, and I'm just like, and skip. I'm not. So anyway, he posted something about bisexual donuts, and I was like, what the hell is a bisexual donut? And I was like, I want to ask him. So I made a separate post because I was like, I don't want to comment on that. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't want that algorithm to think that I want more of this. So I made a separate post that was like, I want to ask Chris what a bisexual donut is, but then again, I don't because because there's stuff you post, Chris, it's too much. I just want you to know that sometimes I clutch my proverbial pearls at times. And so I was like, so I made a post which made other people like, what the hell is a bisexual donut? And I was like, I really have I actually Googled it, and all I got was a rainbow donut, like with the with the bisexual flag colors. That was it. Like I was like, because I didn't know, and then I need you to explain because what was happening, and then like what's going on with you? Like sometimes
so
like I'm your friend, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't even know this dude because I just too much.
One of my favorite things to do, and I've done this more than once, is to think of something that a search engine can't find for me.
Right.
So that's the impetus for a lot of the things I post. Like a lot of times I'll type something into a search engine and be like, does this exist? And that, again, this goes back to high school, which is where I got the brand name for my page, Things You Don't See Every Day with Chris Taliaferro. Like I try to find things you don't see every day. So again, when we talked about, and you made your post about a bisexual donut, somebody posted what they thought, they were like, probably a bagel.
Right, which was actually a good.
Which I'm like, yeah, because and then the more I thought about it, a bagel is a bisexual donut because a donut is sweet, right? So it's gonna be a circular object with a hole in the middle, and it's gonna be sweet and not savory.
Right.
Now, a bagel can be savory because you can have an everything bagel. You can have just like an onion, a garlic bagel.
Right.
You can have a savory bagel, but conversely, you can have a sweet bagel. You can have a cinnamon raisin bagel with jelly on it, right? So
it's a bisexual.
It's bisexual. It can either be sweet or savory. Right, a bagel is a bisexual donut because a donut knows what it is. It's like, I'm sweet. I don't listen. Y'all can do all that savory stuff over there. That's on y'all. I don't look good for y'all. I'm a savory ally, but I'm sweet over here. A bagel is like, hey, I'm sweet. I'm savory. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh my god, that was a funny.
Dick, I'll eat your donut pussy. I don't give a fuck. You have a child there. I'm sorry. I forgot again. I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's
you're the one that asked me about.
Anyway, if you want to get entertained by these weird posts that Chris posts, what's your social so everybody can follow you again?
I'm still trying to.
I'm warning you guys if you follow him though.
It is what it is. They know what they're getting into.
You are signing up for stuff you may not want to sign up for, but go ahead and give your socials.
No, it's fine. On Facebook, Things You Don't See Every Day with Chris Taliaferro. Actually, it's Things You Don't See Every Day with Chris Taliaferro and Serotonin, my podcast co-host. But we haven't had a podcast in forever. We need to do one. It's my fault.
She's always ready. Next week, next Sunday. Let's do this. Let's peer pressure her to get in on here.
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm down. I will absolutely.
I'm a for next Sunday. Okay, keep going.
No, it's fine. My YouTube channel got taken down a while ago. I'm still working on rebuilding it, but for right now, it's the Facebook page, just as I mentioned. But then also you can follow me on TikTok. If you just look up Things You Don't See podcast, you'll find me. I'm there. I'm easy to find. I'm there.
And then Island Girl said this was a good talk. Thank you, Island Girl. Keep me entertained while cooking breakfast. Thank you for watching.
Island Girl.
Yeah. So make sure you guys follow me. I am Kai Nicole on Facebook and Twitter. I am Kai Fly Mommy on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on the channel. I'm
Chris Taliaferro on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky too. Wait, do we follow each other?
Yeah, I see your post there too.
Okay, I'm just making sure. You know what? Because I want to get on Blue Sky more. I'm not on there as much as I'd like to be.
I'm not on there as much as I'd like to be, but I'm there, and I'm posting. So if you're on there, follow me.
I'm about to go like a bunch of your posts on General Principle.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And then I'm going to be posting. So on my members only side, I'm posting my vacation with my daughter. So make sure you subscribe or join my channel. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm about to hit the pool. I'm about to go post the pool pics like in 20, 30 minutes or so. I'm about to go and do vacation. I'm done. This is the last work thing that I was going to do this week. This is it. I am officially on vacation.
Good stuff. Yeah. Enjoy the pool. Enjoy your vacation.
Yes.
Apologize to your daughter for me cursing and saying all kinds of weird, unmentionable things that I won't say again.
But I'm not going to say because we made it through the whole program without it happening. So we're just going to keep
going.
Right.
No, there's another thing. Right. Exactly.
Exactly. We made it. Good job, Chris. We made it. Good job.
I tried my best.
Thank you. All right. Later. Peace out, everybody.